There we go. All right. Shareable
I think we're
link.
good.
We are. I'm just the URL in Patreon. And ta-da. Yes. Publish. Okay. So
Hi, Jessica.
what were you? Oh, hi, Jessica.
Hi,
I was
Jessica.
curious. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Oh,
That's not what I was trying to do.
hi, Giggle Glimmer. Hello. I'm Miriam. That's Heather.
Hey, hey. Welcome.
We thought we'd come and hang out with you guys for New Year's. A little bit, you know?
Might as
Happy
well. I think the
New
good majority of
Year.
everybody is home, so.
I was holding the dog. We were kind of like on the bed together because she was scared until 2 this morning. Heather had the same thing. You know, animals, they don't like the noise.
Yeah.
People celebrating, they just want to be happy. Happens a few days out of the year. So tomorrow is the Cancer full moon. I
That's
think the
in 2
moon goes
days.
into Capricorn in a little bit, is what Heather was saying.
No, Mercury goes into Capricorn in a
Oh,
few minutes.
Mercury goes into Capricorn.
Yeah, and then Cancer full moon is on the 3rd, so in 2 days, actually. We got the Cancer full moon, and let's not forget tomorrow. Well, pretty much today, Chiron's basically stationed direct at 20. It's stationing to a stop, and it stations direct tomorrow. So 22 degrees. One other thing that's kind of interesting, and I know you've got the chart of the moment probably pulled up. I'm pulling it here on
Holding the
my side
dog.
really, really, really quick.
Ooh.
Um,
Uh,
oh shit. Today we have the North Node entering the first decan of Pisces at 10 degrees.
mm.
Mm-mm-mm. Holding your dog till 1 a.m. in Florida. So yes, Jessica, everybody has Chiron in their chart, dear. Where you have it and in what sign is Chiron's basically you'll hear it in the spiritual world is called the wounded healer. Okay. Um, it's a great place to do shadow work on yourself if you we all have a wound that we came into this life with. It's perpetually kind of gnawing at us subconsciously, and it plays out in our real life. And a lot of us go a really long time without even understanding that wound fully. However, we keep getting repeated lessons to help us heal that wound. And, once we heal the wound, it's not doesn't mean that scar tissue goes away. It's still going to be there. It's still going to be sensitive. But when you evolve Chiron, for example, it's a wound that you've learned to deal with. And so you're able and capable to help others deal with their wounds. I recommend to you, Miss Jessica Hun, on our shorts here on YouTube, there is a Chiron through the houses and signs that I literally posted like the day before yesterday. There's also one in there for Lilith. Jamie, hey babe, and
Is
thank
Jamie
you.
here?
Jamie's showing us some love. Look at that donation. Thank you, darling.
Is that Jamie? Thank
It
you so
is.
much. I love you so much. Thank you. Jamie is like a sister wife to me. I have all these sisters.
I think it'd be fun
Happy
to
New
have her
Year, my
come visit.
bitches. God. How is your I mean, thumbs up, thumbs down. Your fifth house is like that thing we were talking about before. Thank you so much, Jamie. We feel your love in our hearts. Thank you.
So much gratitude. Truly appreciate you being here.
Hi,
You're gonna have to
Lisa. I
come
haven't seen
visit
you in a
us at some
while.
point, Jamie.
I
We
haven't
can go
seen
get
Lisa in a very long time. It's very good to see you today.
Lisa. Hi, beautiful.
Very good to see you. Thank you.
I
I
hope you
love
guys all had
Jamie.
happy holidays. Really. I'm personally glad they're all over.
I'm personally glad they're all over. I mean, shoot,
Yeah.
you know, the nodes will be moving into Leo and Aquarius.
July of
And I
next year.
mean,
Yeah.
right off the bat, July, yeah, of next year, you're gonna have a lot of people showing off. A lot of people playing around, goofing off, you know, competing, all of a sudden feeling a strong sense of competition. I mean, the other thing about Leo, it is the fifth house. So it very well could be this all of a sudden I got the smoking hots for you kind of thing.
Oh, oh yeah.
Like I've never looked at that person before like that. And now I'm hungry. I have this huge appetite. And
Especially with that South Node vibe there. Yeah. The South
yeah.
Node is where, that fifth house is going to be, that South Node.
Oh
It's
yes.
it's where you
No,
can
we
easily have exes and all kinds of things come back. And yeah, South Node through
affairs
the
with
fifth.
Pluto and Aquarius, people having affairs.
Yep.
People just all of a sudden not giving a diddly dang and saying, you know what? F you, F you, F you. I'll do what I want. No, Jamie, we have not had our black eyed peas yet. And that's my fault. It is my fault. I didn't, we haven't celebrated here this year. More than likely next year, and then next year, all the traditional stuff. But yes, you said black eyed peas, and all of a sudden I was like, oh, I don't even know if Heather likes black eyed peas, to be honest with
I,
you.
I don't know that I've ever even eaten black eyed peas.
There
I just think of Fergie when I hear black eyed peas.
is somebody blowing up my Facebook. Why?
Yeah, I'm closing out of it. There we go. I'm closing out of Facebook.
It's
But yeah, guys, today we got Mercury zooming up through Capricorn. Thank God it's out of Sag. Thank God it's out of Sag.
I swear to God, it was sitting in Sag and it was all internal stuff, which is weird. It was kind of like thinking and considering the things with all the things. Um, Here, I'll pull up the is that better? Can you see that?
Yeah. Yeah, the bottom half. We don't need the bottom half so big, but yeah, we can see the chart.
Okay, cool. Cool. That's what I'm talking about. This is the chart, y'all. Um, yeah, like a that.
Look at that.
Like a that.
Lilith is at 1 degree Sag.
Yeah.
And yeah, just
Opposing Uranus, so there's that.
yeah. Whoa. All right. And then we got
Mm.
Mercury later today in Capricorn. So I guess technically it's still in Sag, but later on today it's going to be moving on up to some Capricorn energy.
Okay,
Ooh,
so
that
there's
Chiron
Mercury
Jupiter square is still going on, but Chiron is
to
pretty much
Jupiter.
standing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chiron's pretty much standing still. I mentioned earlier for those that are just coming in, tomorrow Chiron stations direct finally. So we've all been dealing with Chiron and Aries. We all have collectively the individual wounds going on right now. And there's been so much reevaluation over these last couple years with Chiron and Aries. And that's what retrograde is. Basically, when Chiron goes retrograde, that's when we really, really internalize everything. But once Chiron goes forward and starts moving forward, it's not going to go retrograde again for quite some time. So that's the point where we're actually moving past some of those wounds, those Aries wounds that have to do with the identity, and repression thereof identity. So that's exciting. Can't remember exactly when it's moving into Taurus. I'd have to double check on that. But I know this year, 2026, Happy New Year for all the new faces popping in. Um, but yeah, definitely going to be a change in collective stuff, and it's going to move into more of the Taurus territory, what we value, money, things, all the things, the healing modalities is going to be a part of that as well, I think. But the financial systems are definitely going to be feeling the crunch.
I
I'm
was
trying to chat here.
you know, okay, so I'm very boring in my free time. Um in the morning when I have my coffee and I'm kind of waking up after I run Iris a little bit. I sit down and I pull out my iPad. You can ask Jamie. And I do this crazy merge game. It's mindless. It's just mindless, repetitious. And this morning, I was listening to my TikTok about a doctor. I think he was either in Australia or in the UK. He has, PhD kind of person that studies the reincarnation loop. And he was very passionate about all of us getting to our most authentic self because apparently when you like pass away to avoid the loop, um they can nab you on anything that was inauthentic. So it would be like, okay, you had one mask on at work and then another mask entirely at home. And it's one of those guilt things. The life review.
Oh yeah,
Um, and he was speaking about this. And the only reason I bring this up is because of the Chiron wound that you were just talking about. Um, at 22, we've had it up to 23, and then it went retrograde, right? Um, those things about us, especially in the later decan there, because that would be Aries, Leo, Sag. Oh, God bless us. And Mercury has been in Sag. So the consideration of moving forward with our life, those things that we've sacrificed, Libra and Pisces, right, for other people or other situations. And everybody's always harping about it. Be your authentic self. Um, it doesn't mean that the world is going to accept your authentic self. You know, there's a lot of people that would find what you're doing socially wrong or obtuse or arrogant or whatever else. Um, but the more that we get to this point, especially with Chiron in the later degrees of accepting those things about ourselves, not necessarily because I'm thinking of Lisa right now, Lisa Still, not necessarily those things that we want, but discovering those things that we need about ourselves. And then choosing to remove the sacrifice piece, you know,
yeah.
choosing to kind of say, I will not sacrifice this part of myself any longer. It's a part of me. I miss that part of me. I've done that a lot. I
Oh yeah.
really miss that part of myself. And where'd I go? Where'd I go? A lot of the sacrifices with Neptune going through Pisces um, has been about sacrificing yourself and not necessarily turning yourself into a martyr, but sacrificing huge parts of your Aries. Am I wrong?
You're not. The martyr complex is definitely, that story is ending. And we'll see it end even more. Gosh, what do we got? Just over 20 days before Neptune moves into Aries. So it's, that's coming to a close. And I think that also with all these transits and everything moving direct finally. I mean, we still got Jupiter, obviously, that's retrograde for the moment, but and Uranus, but otherwise, like, there's been some self-realizations with,
Mm,
what is not working for me anymore, what
yeah,
I'm not going to delude myself with anymore, because
yeah.
I've been talking to you a lot about this, my own personal thing, and I'm not going to get into it, but my own personal qualms about um, my spiritual vision, my knowing of what um, I'm meant to be doing, this kind of work and stuff. But then I have to also be truthful with myself and go, okay, now where have I maybe clouded? Where's my vision been a little clouded? And I think, with it being Capricorn season, we got the sun moving into the second decan of Capricorn. Mars is in there. Venus is in there. Mercury will be in there later today. I think everybody's going to be having this big, not so serious, Capricorn, but it is. It's a little more mature. There's going to be a maturity level that's going to come in about where we have to hold our own and stop playing, having that martyr thing, but, focusing on us, not necessarily focusing so much on how, we can help the other people so much, but it is like, okay, well, I've kind of slacked off on this and kind of get a little more responsible as Capricorn season is going to definitely help all of us do that.
I mean, the whole point of Capricorn, it is okay, I want you to think 45 years old or older. That's kind of a Capricorn energy of my, with maturity. But Capricorn's purpose is finding solutions not just for themselves, but for everybody on their team. So, Capricorn, if you notice, the opposition is to Cancer, but the 240-degree quincunx, what the challenge is, like, what's going to get thrown at Capricorn? And hitting Leo is like, who's captain of the team? And who gave you the right to tell me what to do? And just because you say something doesn't mean, also, I'm going to say this as a friend. Leo has this sextile, right, to Gemini. And sometimes it can do about popularity. We're not going to pay attention to what Capricorn says because Gemini says, whether it's right or wrong, it doesn't matter. It's who believes the most of whatever. I have 300 people who believe my side of the story. And so popularity wins over the complete idea that we have 16 gears, and each person represents a gear. And we keep slipping because of this idea of Gemini. So Capricorn has this struggle between your opinion or my opinion, your opinion or my opinion. And Gemini is like, stop throwing the Leo hot mess into it. We need to look at the facts. We need to look at the data. We need to collect it all together and then use the trine from Virgo. So even this morning, okay, so I've been in like my fourth or fifth PTSD group therapy with the VA, right? And we're using Marsha Linneman's, um, her book and her course study,
Talk
which
about
I've been like
talk
right
about
on.
PTSD. Lisa literally in the chat just mentioned PTSD, and then within seconds
PTSD.
you brought it up. So definitely synchronistic. So my ears are open.
So the acronym, because we're all ex-military, the acronym is STOP, right? It's to stop yourself, to observe what you're doing, to kind of track what the feelings are, right? Um, and I had to do that this morning. My Capricorn is in my fourth house. So it has to do with my inner ego and how I see myself. And my inner ego could drop and just right out the bottom in a matter of 0.1 seconds. Um, and so I have to kind of pull it up and keep it. No, Miriam. Like I was telling Heather last night, what I say, I have a right to be alive.
Yeah.
I just said it out of nowhere.
I know. I
Um,
was in the kitchen and I hear her say, I have a right to be alive. I have a right to be
I
here.
have a right to be
And I
alive.
look at her like, what's going on? What existential crisis are you having over there, babe? You're damn right you have a right to be here.
Yeah, that's what she said, but she didn't, I felt the drop. And so I had to do the STOP acronym. Go, wait. It's the holidays and the negativity can hit at any point. Just so, yeah, it was the stop, even this morning. Stop. What are you doing, Miriam? Take a look around. Is it real? Is it not real? And to do this responsible thing, which is Capricorn. And it's very difficult when you have people around you, um, because Venus is there too, and so is Mars. Venus and Mars. And it presents this, there's the Leo right in the middle. What wants
Mhm.
attention right now? What needs attention right now? You know, are we struggling over the responsibilities and the obligations of tending to the real world? Or are we banking this off of a popularity thing, a gossip thing, you know, who's the captain thing? Um, I'm also going to say with Venus there, the hunger. There could also be folks that want to rise and go higher. And their hunger, it could also include greed. More, more. Um, because the eyeballs down here in Gemini are observing so much Leo. Look at all the things that are showing, um, we choose in this household to transmute that energy into patterns with the South Node in Virgo. So Heather and I, we're like, how many peacocks did we see today? 16. Oh my God, 16 peacocks. Lately, I haven't even told you, Heather. Lately, I've been seeing 1111, 1212,
So numbers
1111.
a lot again.
Yeah, they changed. My numbers changed. And I was like, wait a second. When did this flip happen? And I'm trying to pick up the new the new pattern with the Gemini thing, but I'm not doing it based off of opinion. The reality is, South Node Virgo, I am actually seeing this. The question is the count, the square going on right now between Virgo and Gemini. Do I have enough datum in front of my face to call it secure? Um, or is this random still? And I'm still seeking and searching. Because Capricorn is going to say the question, how can we make all of this work together? How can we pull the team together? No fights. This is not Fight Club. How can we, and it's Capricorn's job, like with the Eight of Pentacles. You've got 8 plates up in the air, and all of them need to be moving. All of them need to be producing, inspired, focused on the goal in which direction we're going in. Because you go from Scorpio, which is way down in the deep. You go to Sagittarius, which brings you way, 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 way high, right? And you're flying around, and then you land upon the mountain, and it's all bare, you know?
Yeah.
Just watching those Everest mountains today, early today. And, it's terrible. Those folks climb up there thinking they can take the mountain, and they got pictures of all those people who couldn't, just hanging
Yeah.
on the side of the mountain because the Capricorn thing was not working together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Working together.
And
Capricorns
Capricorn
as
one.
leaders have to figure out how to serve from the back. It's not about popularity. It's not about people's opinion. Do you see what I
It's about
mean? Like
long
leadership,
term. Yeah. Yeah. But it's like what's sustainable for the long term.
long term, legacy.
Yes.
Who is my legacy? And I'm like, all my sister wives. That's who my legacy. I've made more sister wives from y'all. It's nuts. Sometimes I think, that harem thing when it comes to the king, the king of a country, and how many Leos and Aquariuses they had, past lives, past lives. So back to the Chiron thing. I wonder, with the Neptune, all right, the spiritual revolution that we're all having right now has to do with Pluto and Neptune having been in a sextile with one another since the late 60s. Started with the flower power, and now we're on the tail end of it. But it's still going to stick around for like quite some time. So if you think about it, all of us knew that we were going to jump in together. All of us knew it was going to be a clearing of karma. And the more we practice the authenticity, if and when, because there's a part of me that wonders if we will. I think we're maybe a couple of decades away from them figuring out how to prolong life permanently.
Oh, it'll
But
be
the
much faster than
authenticity
that.
bit, let's say if you transitioned, I'm trying to be ballsy enough to be able to go, hey, where are you trying to take me? No, I'm not a human. I am. I'm an energy. Miriam is an energy.
I
No,
just
I ain't going
saw
down that tunnel. You know what I mean?
they're like
Tell me
this
your name's
motherfucker.
Jesus. How do
Where
I
does
know
she
that?
think that
Give me
she
some
knows?
credentials. I want to see your paperwork.
Right?
You want to have me take me to the elders? Elders of who? Elders of what? You know, just not going to let you guilt trip me into getting back on the wheel and jumping back in because I've practiced. Heather's another one, practices the authenticity over and over again. And I
I
wonder
have
if we're
to.
just going to be strong enough. Anyway,
Well,
that's
the
all I
interesting thing,
say.
it's interesting that you're bringing this up right now. Now, I know January 1st, 2026, right? But
Right.
come July, you got to keep in mind this year we have Jupiter moving into Leo. Jupiter doesn't do anything small.
No.
Leo already wants to express and individuate and all the things for the crowd across the way in Aquarius. So we're gonna so we're gonna be going to where the south node, the north node's gonna be in Aquarius. The south node of what we're supposed to be releasing and letting go of egoically is going to be in Leo with Jupiter, which is going to magnify that energy and that need and desire to
Play.
go big, to play, to create, to the entrepreneurship is going to be insane. But I'm
To
thinking
fall
of
in
the
love.
vibe,
To
thinking of the
gamble.
vibe. Yeah, but I'm thinking of the vibe of the South Node and Jupiter in Leo opposite freaking Pluto. What
That's
the
so much
F
fun.
is that going to look like? Oh my
So
gosh.
much fun. So much
We got all good,
trouble. So much
right?
trouble to be had. So excited.
I'll be there in the clanking the cup across the cell bars.
Because
Nobody
the South Node
knows.
is going to be starting in the later decan, which is Aries. So,
Mhm.
oh, that's
Jupiter's going to
fire.
hit opposite Pluto, and I think around that time too, we got Mars hitting up conjunct with Uranus.
Oh yeah,
That should
down
be
here,
interesting.
down here, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
Uranus is Uranus going to be in Gemini
It's going to
in
be moving
July?
back to
Back
way
in
before
Gemini.
July. I can
I think
ask.
isn't it like February or March? But yeah, I mean, okay, you have a a Mars
April
conjunct
25th.
Uranus in Gemini. So that's a strike, a spark, with two air signs. One's a tornado. Um, yeah, the other's like wispy wind, but it'll be sextiling the energy of Leo with the South Node and Jupiter there. And Jupiter in the first decan. So, or yeah. So
I
do not
and
be tricked by Miriam saying, you know what we should all do? Because I would be the one to just fall straight into that trap and just start being like, okay, you guys, we're all going to Vegas. We're
I'm
gonna
going to have to
fuck.
be holding down the fort at that point saying, "Woman, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Stop. Slow your roll,
Stop.
Chica." But I
Slow
mean,
down.
we'll still have that minor grand trine going on. It's going to last for a bit, right? So we got the outer planets, that Uranus, and it's trining up to Pluto, sextile to Neptune, back down to Uranus.
Get
But
there.
I'm
And
thinking
then that.
too. Oh, the Uranus is going to go into Gemini April 25th. Is when it's going to be going back into Gemini.
Oh yeah.
So now going through there, you got to figure when it goes back in there and Mars crosses it, that'll probably be what, like in July,
And
right? So that's some really explosive energy, y'all. That's
I'm gonna
like
need, yeah, self-control.
there's going to be
It's
a
gonna hurt.
lot. Oh yeah, there's going to be a lot of and not to
Rando.
say it'll be like it's like big parties or big rebellions or any big explosions. It's big, and it
Yeah.
could be information too, with all of those outer planets and it being
Yeah.
in Gemini at that point, could be big
I wonder,
information.
that conversation we had the other day about the groups, especially here in the United States, who have all come together around a certain topic that they agree, and they put on a very large display in a lot of these really large cities.
Mm.
And I spoke with Heather and I said, the only thing that's missing is that Leo energy. Is where's the captain? We got the groups, but where's your captain? You
Who's
have
rolling?
like
Who's
Martin
running
Luther
shit?
King Jr., right? The
Oh
head of the
yeah, new
team,
face.
the quarterback, because that person would bring the inspiration, but also do the negotiations necessary. We've had the groups, we've seen the groups, but to have a captain like Martin Luther King Jr. again,
Youngster. There's
um,
going to be a young person that's going to come to power, that's going to rise up suddenly to power. And I say young because it's all down there in that younger signs, right?
yeah,
That Leo, I say younger signs, and
right.
plus all that air and fire, that's a very young energy.
I'll be
It's
right back.
not, it's not earth and water where, you know, things move really, really, really slow. So I feel it's going to be a sudden uprise of somebody. And the Leo side of it, the popularity is going to be through the roof. Leo's like the entertainer, right? Leo's the celebrity. If there's, you know, I mean, I guess Pisces is celebrity too, but like definitely going to see an uprising in that. And with it being Uranus, which is the revolutionary change maker, being in Gemini of vocality, you know, speaking, presenting it to the world across the way to Sag, that's big voices coming out. So it'll be interesting to see. Oh, I'm gonna bring it up. I'm gonna bring it up just because I
Do
saw it
it.
earlier and I didn't get to talk to you about it. Okay,
Do
so
it.
and I'm not getting into a big old political thing, but I'm already starting to see a bit of this. So if we talk about Marjorie Taylor Greene, who I've never been on her side, like I thought that her tactics were tasteless, how she was acting, and you know, when she was in office. Well, she says she's like she stepped down or whatever, but she's literally out loud talking about Nixon tax, everybody not paying taxes, filing tax. She is going out in that, and I'm like, that doesn't really surprise me, but I just saw that today, like in a reel or something, that she's like cool with that. I mean, I know that that's a thing that's starting to go around, but anyways, that's that's a young woman getting vocal.
Oh,
We got a bunch
yeah.
of people popping in to chat, so
There's
I
gonna
know you
be
haven't
a.
had a
Oh
chance to
yeah, you
look.
want to talk with our people?
A
Sure.
little bit, a
Oh
little
yeah,
bit.
that's right. We have people. Her and I get lost. Hi,
We
John.
do.
Is John here? Hey, John. Good morning. Amber.
Yeah.
Oh, I love you. Amber says, hello, hello. You not only have a right to be alive, my dear, you have been blessed into being alive by spirit who loves you as do we. Thank you. I've been running around all the time. Been doing it for a while where I'm just like, I am. It's kind of like suck a I am. I am. Period. I am. She says, you are magnificent and loved. Thank you. Shaw Roberts, an estranged family member, contacted me earlier today, surprised and anxious. A love action or an energy alignment response? Confused. Okay. Amma said only a loving God could think up a Miriam. That's funny. Andrea, 54 Hector, hello, my beautiful spiritual sisters and family. Sending positive vibes and positive energy for the chat. And my beautiful spiritual sisters and family, thank you so much. You
Yeah,
know, I
earlier.
had a husband once that said Twinkies, cockroaches, and a nuclear blast, you know, Miriam would survive with the cockroaches. I'll never forget that. I was like,
Jamie was in the chat too, and I don't know if you saw it. It was after
oh,
the
was
Black Eyed
she?
Peas thing. She said, "Listen, I walked a lady back to her husband last night with a smile on my face when she asked me if I was going home with my new squeeze. It was a fun night, so that was accurate. She was trying to sit in his lap and in his face."
Oh,
Sounds like you went out and had a good time last night then. I'm glad to hear that.
I love
We
that.
stayed in. We stayed in. Oh, y'all, Miriam made me oatmeal butterscotch cookies
I
yesterday.
did.
So, so good. And they're
I did.
pretty. They're so good and
I
so
did.
pretty. I still have
I
some.
did.
I brought some up with me
Sorry, my
today.
face. Oh, my face.
Your face is beautiful.
Thank you. I'm trying. Working. Well, it's my mother's fault, really. It's my mother's fault. It's my mother's fault. Emma says, ha, that's been said about me. I have the stamina of a cosmic herd of bulls. Yeah. Heather and I were discussing last night the okay. Amba's here so she can check my work for me. And I'm very okay with being corrected. I'd rather be right than wrong. Cockroaches, Miriam and me. We need a t-shirt. With the Pluto in Libra generation, big generation that hardly gets seen and appreciated. And that's another thing about the Leo energy. When the South Node gets there, a lot of people will be putting their foot down and saying, you will appreciate the work I do or the thoughts I think or whatever it is. You will appreciate it. With Pluto in Libra, I don't know why I defend this point with Heather so much. Jeffrey Green says that wherever Pluto is, you need to go to its opposition. You've had too much Pluto in that area. So to balance it out, you've got to focus on the opposition, which is Aries. Well, Aries is at the beginning. Aries is the beginning. So oftentimes I think that our generation, being the way that we are, having so much confrontation, so much of the chaotic, so much of the destruction, so much of the judgment, we were brought in, I'm thinking, as the 0 point for Aries. Look at it like this. Let's say you have a computer that's loaded with softwares and all your apps and all your pictures and everything else. If you wanted to upgrade your system, you'd do it all at one time. So you'd bring in the largest amount of people onto the planet, right? And then conduct a reverse virus thing that would clean. And when it approaches something, it has to make a decision. Is this workable, efficient? Does it work toward the solid purpose of something? Do we need this? And so sometimes I think with the Pluto in Libra generation that we are needing that 0 point, and also all the family karma. Amba and I have talked about this. So much work, inner work that we have done from childhood, the horrific childhoods that we have had, and then just knowing that we need to clear, we need to clean, we need to not just do ourselves, but to do ancestors we've never met, to put ourselves in geographical places we've never been, and to just clear, 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 clear. I'm always looking at that 0 point at Aries. If we're in a tornado and you go all the way down to the tip, clear everything out, all the debris, and then you start working your way back up. So I don't know if you agree with that thought, but I tend to have it a lot. It would make us so different from everybody else in all the other generations. They would be very confused by us because the Aries polarity point is in the 240 degree quincunx over to Scorpio. Our performance, our role, our bodies, the changes. Thank God, Amba. She says Pluto and Libra spend an entire life trying to ground the frequency of love and connection in a world that does not seem to understand why this is needed or how to do it. The love is directed. Finish typing woman. She is a woman, by the way.
And the love is directed.
We're constantly in the square, in the axes of Capricorn and Cancer as well. Positions of leadership that we didn't ask for, we didn't want. She also says over to Aries, yeah, the love is directed over to Aries to cleanse by fire. It's not just relationships here, but ancestral and future because of the square to Capricorn.
Right.
The legacy of our lives is to bring everything down to 0 point. Burp, clear. Ugh.
Uh,
And the thing that we like chose this for ourselves before we entered. I always tell people, that you build the plan with your soul family groups, and then you got to get it signed off by God. But that we're the ones that chose to jump in and do this. And of course, almost every day, I'm like, who let me do that, man? Because I want to have a talk with that person. Be like, next time I try to pull crap like this, no, tackle me. Full
my
on, I'm
thought
on
is it's
board.
always, hey, it's their fault. They let me be an adult. But
They let me try.
I define what I I mean, you mean I get to define what that is?
But if your
And I
Pluto
mean,
is retrograde, um, it means that
most
there's
people's
something very
are.
specific that was missed in a way where you didn't use the tool, or there was an experience where you didn't transform
You
in a
gotta do it
past life.
again.
You got to kind of do it again, but retrogrades are kind of tricky with that because the attachments to that Pluto, the house that it's in, the sign that it's in, um, it's going to be something very specific. So if it's attached to Mercury, it's going to have to do with the mind, your opinion, the other person's opinion, data,
I mean,
neighbors,
Pluto
siblings.
itself is psychological. Yeah.
It's psychological.
Something within yourself you're gonna have to really, really dig at. And
Ambit
just
saying
okay.
retrograde just means more intense. It will be intense around that tool that you didn't pick up.
And Jessica, keep in mind that the outer planets move slow and all of them go retrograde every year. And it can be for months and months and months and months on end. So you're not you're not alone on the Pluto retrograde. There's plenty of people in the world that got the Pluto retrograde. Same thing with Mercury retrograde. There's a lot of people that are born with Mercury retrograde. And so when Mercury goes retrograde, or in your case, when Pluto goes retrograde, anybody who's not born with that planet retrograde is going to have a little bit of a harder time. They're going to have a little more internal focus on
Yeah.
working that planet. And so when, let's say your Mercury is retrograde and you don't have Mercury retrograde in your chart, you may struggle with things like your vehicle acting up, your technology messing up, stumbling over your own words, having a hard time holding your thoughts. While somebody with Mercury retrograde, that's like when the light bulb turns on and they become more clear and more focused and external with how clear the expression is. So I hope that helps.
In my
She's like, great.
tracking of the retrogrades of the outer planets, Saturn even, to me, it's like when these planets are direct, we have the appropriate power to do, the ability to do. It would be like the gate is open, people can move. When the planets go retrograde, it's like all that structure is missing. So when Pluto is retrograde, you think you have power, but it's kind of sloppy. If you were born with Pluto retrograde, that means that the energy flips. And so it's only when Pluto is retrograde that you actually are empowered to do, while the rest of us are like flopping around, swimming in the goo. And sometimes, if you set it up like I say to myself every year, that when Saturn is direct, I swear to God, I'm going to work hard. I swear to God, I'm going to save money. I swear to God, I'm going to prep myself for when Saturn goes retrograde next year. But Saturn comes in, finally getting his legs up underneath us again and saying, okay, the structure is here, get to work, right? There's
Mm.
always things. There's always things. And then Saturn goes retrograde again. and all the structure kind of goes flippy, just kind of goo again. And now you're paying more money over here because that thing broke and then this thing broke and all the structural things you had in place, right, there's an animal living in the attic. Why? Because I didn't put the prevention in place when Saturn was direct. Nope, we're going to find out about this freaking animal in the attic when Saturn is retrograde, right?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
It's all the things that you're supposed to have control of. But when they flip, like Felicia, she's got a Mercury retrograde. So she doesn't, like, when everybody else is getting contacted by older Six of Cups people, she doesn't have that. She actually can communicate. She doesn't lose her phone. Her software is finally running. It's opposite. That's just what I have found. Yeah. What have you found? Have you seen a pattern, Heather, with the retrogrades?
I already spoke to. I spoke to it before you did, babe. So not really anything else to
Oh,
add.
okay.
Um, it's it can be awkward, especially like I'll add this little tidbit. I was in a relationship with somebody for a really long time that had a Mercury retrograde. And in a lot of ways, we had a lot of similarities in our charts, right? Well, this person really sucked at communicating in an effective manner, right? Usually the communication ended up being off to the whole world. Let's just put it that way. When I say off to the whole world, like, saying something and wanting to make an impact and everybody looking at you like, what are you talking about? That can have that Mercury retrograde thing. But whenever Mercury turned retrograde, I'd start fumbling. I'm a Virgo sun. My sun's ruled by Mercury, right? So I lose my keys, drop everything, break all my nails, stub my toes, all that kind of stuff. While he was finally like making sense, and so that's kind of the dynamic that I noticed, at least with Mercury retrograde. The outer planets, I don't usually feel the outer planet retrogrades too awful bad. I'm
I
not gonna
do.
lie,
Oh, they're terrible.
sometimes I do, but I do a lot of introspection anyways. So, the retrogrades, I think I've gotten more proactive with that over the years and understanding astrology and when the best time to work on things is. But one thing I was gonna say is I just had the thought when you were talking about Saturn retrograde of it going direct and coming out of Pisces for good, finally. Like, I'm thinking all the people that have been having water damage problems, pipe problems, like all the
Mm.
all the water, flooding and, granted Jupiter's still in Cancer, but a lot of the water issues are going to go away. So if you've been having problems with water faucets at home or, your fridge leaking, your well, I guess drains are Scorpio, but you know what I mean. If you're having problems with your water heater effing up and stuff, that'll be going away pretty soon once Saturn gets out of Pisces.
I would
Well, even when
also
it's
kind of throw in there that, okay, Pluto is in a house in your chart, but Scorpio rules a house in your chart. So my Pluto is in my first house. My Scorpio is my second house. So when these retrogrades and these sort of things happen, it's always my freaking second house that demands the attention of my Pluto. And I have to arrive with my Pluto first house to tend to my Scorpio ruled second house. So if you're looking at your chart, find where your Pluto is and then find where Scorpio is and just try it. Test my method. When crap goes down, see if I am not correct about that. that your Scorpio ruled house will break. Something will happen. You know, people try getting my bank account. Okay. Something breaks with the house. You know, it's always for me like the small animals get boo-boos and I got to take them to the vet. Whatever my second house decides to act up, which is frequently, unfortunately, you know, it's like major paperwork that I need gets wet. Somebody spills coffee all over it. It demands my first house, my body, to show up and be like, mother again, you know. And then people get upset with me. What? Where were you? Why weren't you? You know, and I'm like, okay, there were 16 things all in a row. Boom, 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 where my Scorpio second house demanded my attention. It's very wanty.
And then I'm an Aries rising. She's a Libra rising. So we flip flop charts. My Scorpio's in the eighth house. My Pluto sits on my descendant in the seventh house. So with that
So
natural
hers
chart thing,
is the person next to her is either empowering her or taking her power.
always
Empowering
power.
her or taking her power. And there's times when she's just sitting in the living room going, you know, I'm powerless,
My
completely
Uranus,
powerless. My
Uranus is
life
in the
cannot move
ascendant of my seventh
forward
house.
until this thing moves forward that belongs to you. See
Oh
what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah. It's so with hers being in the first, it's self. Mine being in the seventh, it's relationships. Everybody that I have any kind of relationship with, even if it's a damn mailman, you know,
Yeah.
it's literally it's everybody else. And so, you know, that's where I've given up the control, especially with the power dynamics with Pluto. And that is the lesson with Pluto anyways, right? It's power dynamics. It's
Power
proper
dynamics.
use of power, right? And so if somebody thinks they need to have power over me, have it. If that's what you need to
Have
think,
it.
to have
Take
it.
it.
Are you really going to have it? Fuck no, but have
No,
it. You can think that
good
it's
try.
yours. You can try.
Spirit is very wanty. Emma says, so I have Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto all retrograde, but the transits forward or retrograde don't do good to be bad, but rather bad to worse. They conspire. It is what it is.
Yeah.
The conspiracy continues.
That Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. Damn, girl. You know you're tough. If you're still
It's a
around, you
hit
know
and a
you're
spin, right? Nobody's
tough.
nobody's catching this. I can't. It's like a hurricane. That would be a freaking hurricane. You
Lisa
don't know
still
which way
says
it's going to turn.
Lisa still says her Pluto's retro, and I get that stuff either before or after everyone. No one when, never
Never
when
when
it's
it's
happening.
happening.
Never when it's happening. Jessica, I do better in some retros than others. I'm determined now to have you guys read my chart. I think I'm ready to know and understand. You know, I love that you said that, Jessica, and that's really a beautiful statement, especially right here at the beginning of the year, right? Technically, the astrological new year doesn't start until Aries season here, but you know, with I'm a very big believer in collective energy. So, you know, although a lot of people say like this may not necessarily be the best time to set new intentions, but there ain't a damn thing wrong with positive affirmations. And if you want to throw some intentions in it, you think about New Year's and why everybody sets intentions and then they fail and then they try again. That's going to happen. It's going to happen with anybody setting any intentions right now. The astrological weather that's coming up is going to
Mm,
have some wishy-washy stuff happening in it. And so to set solid basis, the fact that you bring up wanting to go ahead and learn your chart, I will tell you that learning my natal chart was so pivotal in my own self-understanding, acceptance, and validation in a way. It's not even just in a way, 100% validation, because you understand parts of you that there may be parts of you that you don't get and that you haven't really shared with anybody, but you know that they're there. You just kind of ignore them off to the side as if they don't exist. But when the chart calls you out on it and you know that you were born like that, it adds a caveat of,
Yeah.
okay, so this is that I was born with this. It's not an anomaly. I know it's there. How can I evolve that to something that is not a problematic thing anymore? That's really what looking at knowing your astrology chart helps you do. Plus, you can look and see where those harder points are. It helps you be able to communicate better with your family. Miriam and I both, Amba too, Lisa, all y'all in the chat, Jamie, you probably look at your family members' charts, your spouse's charts,
Mm.
and your best friend's chart to see, oh, they're going to be going through something hard, or, oh, they're going to have this big event happen, and it gives you can be preparatory with how you live
Yeah.
your life.
The acceptance where you see the program and you go, okay, they are who they are. And I am who I am. And we don't have the same chart. And there's way more acceptance, like, especially
The
when you get
grace.
really good at
Yeah.
reading this stuff, because then you can see the why. Why is my best friend always doing this thing and it drives me insane? And oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And then you find out in your chart that you're the one attracting these kind of people. It's you. It's on you.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like, okay, well, how do I make this stop? How do I stop attracting people who annoy me, who drive me nuts? And that's where the transmutation comes in, because you can take any energy, and if you hold still long enough and breathe and let it come to you in a lot of cases. Now, I'm not going to say, look, Amba might agree with me, Lisa might agree with me as well. If you have really strong placements in the fixed signs, um, you wouldn't be as much go get them as the rest of us. Because what I have found is people who have very strong, like Taurus,
Clench. Hold on.
they want things to come to them. And
And
in
keep
some
them
cases, you
ever.
can't. You
Keep
must
them
be the
forever and
one.
ever and ever.
The ones that come to me and try to get love readings, but they don't go anywhere and they don't do anything and they're not social. They just think Prince Charming's going to come knock on their door. Um, and that's not like, you got to help it out a little. But each chart is different and it all depends. Heather and I and Amba, I think Lisa too, everybody in the room, we look at our family's charts and we figure out the past lives and the direction of the soul, and we sit back, and it is this very large acceptance, if not annoyance. And I think it's okay for us to feel that. It's not okay for us to, like, it's that whole adage that says, you can let a bird fly over your head, but don't let it build a nest on your head. That's not the point.
Yeah.
And
Don't
the
let
chart
them
is
say that.
constantly moving. So as soon as you think you have anchored something, even a thought or a feeling, as soon as you think you have anchored something, something will change, because the whole thing is moving constantly. And it's very annoying to have to go back and then rebuild again in a different, like, zodiac sign sort of energy. And I think our place, me and Heather, it's like one of the reasons we came together to do this was to make all of this stuff relatable, but also to give it verbiage that takes out the superimposed intellectualism on all of this, and to just kind of put it in 2026 language that says, yeah, you know, that is part of my job. I have Sag over Gemini, and um, Lilith in my ninth house is trying to say, yes, the sun right now is in between Venus and Mars, but Mars is at the 13th degree. So now we have built up strength and motivation to put ourselves towards getting to work, trying to make things come together, to work together, to produce. Capricorn and Leo are energies that are meant to produce something. You must show up with your new, okay, so you put together glasses. Well done. Are they functional? 10th house Capricorn. Will it serve in a way to enhance productivity? Capricorn. You know, those two areas right there are really important in the chart. And to have so many personal planets in there, I bet you $1 million, everybody is looking at their Capricorn energy and kind of saying, okay, I need to take this more seriously. You know what I mean? I need
Yeah.
to jump in there and try to figure out how this can serve me and my agenda. That square right now to its ruler, to its own freaking ruler, is sort of pushing the point of taking ownership. That's another part of Capricorn. I cannot make a team run functional until I see that it belongs to me. This is my team, and if there is a failure here, that's on me as a leader. So I must be the one to say, okay, I will delegate better. I will sit down and inspire my people better. You guys ever have one of those really crappy bosses who treats their workers like they're nothing? Everybody's had a boss like that. Or a boss that takes all the credit for all the work, Leo, that their people have done. But they won't spotlight their people and say, well, we couldn't have done this without Joe. We couldn't have. No, this dude's going to take all the Leo and shine real bright in front of the cameras. Capricorn energy it's not workable. You know what I mean? Your people are going to leave. They're going to go find another job because they don't feel special or appreciated. So this particular, am I describing this correctly for you people? My people. I love you
Doing great.
guys.
For you
But
people, my
you
people.
people, my people, the love that Heather and I and there are a lot of times we just need to turn on, a recording or something, because um picking apart the definitions of what kind of energy, and then having the foresight to plan better and take advantage of these personal planets in Capricorn while we can. It's this house belongs to me, right? Capricorn over the fourth. If it's not together, it's my responsibility to make it so. Things that have not been, like, I've needed to go change the filters on the AC unit thing, and I plan to do it. This sort of energy is saying, okay, then get her done. Whose responsibility is it to take ownership of that part of your chart? And then with the personal planets there, it's like, dude, take advantage of it. This would be like the wind at your back. Jamie's, I think, is over her fifth house. So, whose responsibility is it, Jamie, to fall in love? I have a Libra moon, so I'm very big on falling in love.
Such a romantic.
Jamie, whose responsibility is it to fall in love?
So funny if you think about like in the sign of moons, right? The air dynamic, the difference between a Gemini moon, a Libra moon, and an Aquarius moon. She has a Libra moon, so she's extra Venusian. All the things. Can I bake
Oh,
you cookies? Can I love you and romance and
love
flowers and
you. I love
and
you.
candles and all the things and
I
comforts.
do.
And my Aquarius, ruled by Uranus slash
Mm.
Saturn, modern, ancient ruler,
She's
uh,
serious
is
and looks at me like,
is very
why?
well. So it's a little darker. It's colder. Let's put it that way. So I love to laugh. I love to have fun, but my humor leans towards the darker side. My
Yeah.
humor leans towards things that are very different than what most Libra moons are happy with.
She
Because
doesn't understand. Like, we both kind of stop. There's an edge where my jokes are not funny to hers and her jokes are not funny to me. And that's appropriate. The air sign differences and letting each other just be what they are. But yes, I've tried to play her songs, to like even send her son a song, feel the romance. And
I'll
she's like,
still never forget you trying to make me watch Love Actually, and I'm thinking this is the shittiest writing I've ever seen in my life. And she's looking at me, just smiling. She's like, and then she goes, "Do you not feel anything?" And I'm like,
I did. I was like, do
I
you not?
don't get it. I don't get it. And let's put on some Billy Bob Thornton and some
Right, right,
put on some Landman or something.
right. But if
I
you
can't.
get like Aquarian energy all together in a group of friends, she's got a lot of playfulness, a lot of laughter, and the games, playing games with each other. But I mean, okay, so I think I clocked it with Armstrong the other day. Is it January 19th and the 20th? I want to say that Mercury enters Aquarius. Is it? I can double
It
check that real quick.
Honey, that happens on the 20th. Look at your Facebook Messenger on your computer. I'm going to give you this cool link and you can actually, I can share screen. What the hell am I doing?
Yeah,
If
you
you're going to
share.
stop sharing, I'm going to share screen and then do what
Yeah,
I
I
was doing.
stopped.
Okay.
I'm very
So let me
romantical. I believe in flowers. I believe in dancing.
romantical.
Yes. I believe in mariachi songs under my window.
Here's January's here's January. So yeah, the 20th. Mercury's going to enter Aquarius.
I think
That's
that's a big day, personally.
gonna be a busy thing. Yeah, we got the sun entering on the 20th, the Venus conjunct Pluto in Aquarius on my moon. Yay.
Fall in love.
uh, and then Mercury's going to enter Aquarius. The sun Kazemi is going to happen with Mercury on the 21st. The 22nd, we've got the Mercury conjunct Pluto. That should be a big news day, a big secret reveal day. But yeah, Mars enters Aquarius on the 23rd. So we've got Aquarius season is going to be crazy. Like
I'm
all
gonna
kinds
I'm
of
gonna
stuff.
love it. Cupid just throwing stuff.
All the
February, the
all
total
the
solar eclipse, because we'll be within range of that total solar eclipse on February 17th when Mercury moves into Aquarius, definitely, being just a few weeks out. And the total solar eclipse, I have not clocked it for volume and intensity yet, but I will.
oh,
Um,
that's the 17th at 28 Aquarius. I had it written down.
yeah, and that's like a month out from that total solar eclipse. So, you know, all the
February.
love
Yeah.
stuff's going to be in the stores. The only thing I care about are the chocolates. So, yeah, and maybe, flowers and chocolate for myself, but like every day because I have a Venus Leo. So, you know, Don't be showing up just once. You gonna love me. You gonna show up every day. Every day.
She
I
needs
want
all
one of
the
those
adoration.
little, what is it? A little gnome. You know what I mean? Take the little gnome with some Hershey kisses and move that sucker every day. Be like, oh my God,
Like
you
an
love
elf on
me.
the shelf. Like you want to
Like an
gnome?
elf
You
on the
want me to
shelf, but I want
gnome
to
you with
know. I want to
Hershey's
know.
kisses? So no elf
I
on the
was the
shelf.
person that took sticky notes, like sticky notes. I was the person and wrote hearts and I love you and put them all over a truck of the person that I loved. I was that person. Was it
That's sweet.
appreciated? Probably not. I did it anyway.
There's a there's a lot of shit in the chat. Like I haven't caught up, but there's a lot in the chat. I was gonna take a look. But since I share
Yeah. Oh,
screen, I'm
hey,
not.
Candace. I love you so much. Candace, I would put a gnome everywhere for Candace. Yeah, I can
Hi,
clock it.
Queen Candace. Welcome in, sweetheart. Happy 2026 to you too. Oh, Jessica Sweezy says at this point, I know it's me. I agree. I have 5 placements in Taurus.
Hey,
Okay.
should we do a
Yeah.
Sabian card? Shuffle a Sabian card today.
You have a Sabian card?
You know the deck? I've never done that. I have the
No,
Sabian deck. We should do
I did
that.
not know you even had one, but it doesn't surprise me. You got a million decks.
Okay. We
While
should
you're
do
doing
that
that, I'm just looking through the chart.
later.
Aubrey, so you're a Taurus rising and an Aquarius moon. Interesting mix. Taurus rules a good part of my first house because I'm a 19 degrees Aries rising. So yeah, I
Okay.
got a lot of Taurus in my first.
I got to get my my eclipse book real quick. I'll be right back.
Your second house Taurus and the storm there. Yeah, Lisa. I feel you there. And you know what I was thinking about? And Amba, you remember this too, babe, I'm sure. When we were when we had our astrology groups and we looked at the transit rhythmograph. And yeah, let me just show that since I'm here. I might as well. But you mentioning that, Lisa, made me think, okay, so you got Aries in your first house too. So was you remember we got gigantic Jupiter spikes that's coming up this year for a lot of us. Let me show that real quick here. Do I even have Astro? Yeah, I do have Astro brought up. So we will go. Let me take this out of here. Be nice and take out my asteroids. That is not what I meant to do. For now. All right, and go back to chart selection. I'm going to share my screen. Hope y'all can deal with my stuff showing here. There we are. All right, so we've all seen this. I hope it shows up okay on everybody's screen. So astro.com, there's me. I've got my chart, right? Well, I'm not going to mess with any of this stuff. I've got it set for today. I'm going to go right over here to special and click on this link. Okay, so special's right there. Then you click on this drop down. Instead of it saying transit calendars, we're going to go down here to where it says transit rhythmogram. Okay, choose that. We're going to show the chart. Pulls up the next 3 years. Okay, and it shows the chart in a different way. I love it because it shows it like energy vibrations of the planets, right? So if we look right here, we got Jupiter on the bottom, Saturn right above it, Uranus above that, Neptune, and then Pluto. And this is the curve of the sums of the energies. Okay, so in 2026, it shows for me, in February, look, all of a sudden I get this gigantic spike I've never had in my entire life that I've looked back in my chart of Jupiter, right? It's going to go way up there. And this right here, Pluto's on my moon. So Pluto's getting a lot of action right now with me. But this can show, they say Jupiter's a benefic, right? For night charts, Jupiter's not as lucky as Venus or benefic. I notice a lot of hard spiritual lessons come around when I have heavy Jupiter lessons. So y'all put it up into the universe, throw it out there that Jupiter's just going to rain magnificent gold on me. Not not bad stuff. I'm good with all the spiritual lessons, y'all. Okay, give me some money, Jupiter. All right, so I got a big spike, but I remember in our astrology group talking about that. Lisa, I don't know if you remember it, Amba, if you're still here, but there's still so much changing right now in my sphere of life that I really can't forecast it. But right now, Jupiter is, if I show you guys my natal chart, go back to round, might as well play, right? With transits, right now I got Jupiter in my fourth house, Cancer. It's going to retrograde back to my Venus, and then it's going to stop. For everybody, it stops at 15 Cancer, and then it's going to move back forward. This has been, although it's had its blessings, 2025 was a really rough year for me. Fourth house symbolizes everything internal, the side of Heather you don't necessarily see unless you live with Heather. It goes back to roots, foundations, the deep emotional stuff. So I'm looking at February. That's kind of interesting. Let's play. I go back here and I'm just showing y'all how I vibe and throw in how I'm going to investigate this. Let's go to about February 16th and show the chart. Okay. So February the 16th, Jupiter's going to still be in retrograde. If I look where, it's going to be on my Venus. So the thing is, in 2025, that transit rhythmogram, when Jupiter hit my Venus for the first time earlier in 2025, there was not a gigantic spike. So I'm really interested to know what kind of loving Jupiter's going to come give me. But yeah. So, anyways, I'm done sharing my chart. Let me get back in here and see what's going on in chat. Okay. Got to fix my screen, girls, ladies and gents. Oh, I got a lot to catch up on. Hold on while I'm reading through this stuff here. Okay, but yeah, I put the links in there if you guys want to book readings. I've got some big stuff changing, so my availability is shrinking to bare minimum. I have yet to get in there and mess with my calendar, but I will do it today. But my availability is going to shrink a lot. I have some other obligations that I have to tend to. So we've got, what else is up here? Aubrey, yeah, you got the link. We have very reasonable rates. I see you asked about the rates. Let's see, to do anyone's natal chart. And does this include explaining the degrees and the signs? Okay, so if you're asking about natal chart readings, typically not the first time. We're not going to dive right into your degrees and the specifics about your degree. We work a little differently. Miriam is an evolutionary astrologer, whereas I'm more of an intuitive astrologer that deals a lot more with I don't know. It depends on what my ancestors are going to throw me, because sometimes they will throw me that EA stuff and I don't even realize that that's where I'm going until I'm there. But mine is a little more geared towards, your modern day, what's got you to where you're at, and what's upcoming for you. And the natal breakdown, I personally do like to do specific degree points and stuff, but she does too. We work very similar when it comes to the degree points, but I just don't know that in your first reading that would become, unless you asked, right? We may not necessarily go into that. Miriam, I don't know that you were here, babe, but I threw in the chat your link to book a reading. Mine's in there too. I told him my availability is changing very soon. And Aubrey looks like she's going to be wanting to book a reading with you. And I know you had to bail the other night. She was like, when we did our last live, Aubrey was there. She's as you noticed, she has her little icon next to her. She's one of our gatekeepers. YouTube membership. She's on the highest tier. But we were throwing down cards, but we got so distracted. I was like, Aubrey, what's your question? Like 2 or 3 times. And she's like, wait a minute, I'm enjoying what I'm watching. And so we did that for like fucking 4 hours, right? But I remember throwing down just real fast and you were already gone. So all right, let's see. We'll get around to it. We're gonna do the tarot thing still on Sundays for our members. And I think this next week, Monday, depending on Miriam's schedule, I haven't talked to her about it, but we'll have to get started on our signs for the January tarot for our Patreons and YouTube members. I said Patreons, for our patrons and YouTube members, for the All Signs tarot for the month of January. That's probably going to start maybe on Monday. We probably won't knock through all the signs at once, but that'll be posted before too long for you guys to be able to hop in and at least watch if you want to. Let's see.
Here, hang on. Let me share my screen real quick.
Candace is going to want you to clock the eclipse when they come around, babe.
Yeah. I'll do that in a second. But the first thing I wanted to do.
I meant in a while, like not the second. I just was mentioning it to you. The eclipse out for a while.
I really need to point out, if you can see the chart.
Yeah.
See Juno? She just entered into Capricorn. She's at 1 degree, 10 minutes. And
yes.
The pattern that I have noticed, and this is just me, is that Vesta is pushing the program of whatever is being brought up, tested. It is a spiritual construct of some kind, but it's almost like she's going through these signs and going, don't forget this, and don't forget that, and don't forget this. In some cases, I've seen, like right now, she's moving towards Siva, which is that asteroid of Siva in Hinduism would represent God. These two getting together, and I kind of stand back and I'm like, what you doing? Where are you going? What's going on there? And now that Juno has also entered into Capricorn, we noticed that, was it yesterday? I was like, wait a second. No, it was the day before. Juno.
You mean to tell me that Juno's in Capricorn?
Right. Juno's in Capricorn. So I wanted to bring this up with you guys just as a study point. I'm going to use the book Asteroid Goddesses by Demetra George and Douglas Block right here. And I'm going to pull up what it says for Juno, because it's almost like Vesta is saying, here's the test. This is the requirement. And then Juno is following, going, oh, you poor thing, let me give you a hug. Let me make you some cookies. But she acts different when she's in every sign. And right now, she just moved over into Capricorn. So Juno's astrological rulerships is an indicator of all one-to-one relationships: marriage, business, friendship, partner, mate, equality, freedom, balance of power, compatibility, marriage, and relationship counseling. Juno rules over marriage rituals and institutions, so chastity and feminine virtue, courtship, betrothal, engagement, marriage, separation, divorce, legal marriage, free mate union, weddings and anniversaries, childbirth, legitimate and illegitimate children. Juno is she signifies of protocol and social ritual, which has been disturbed since the Pluto in Sagittarius folks showed up. So host and hostess, hospitality, entertainment, etiquette, and charm. Juno enhances feminine beauty. I know. Adornment, dress style, makeup, scents, glamour, decor. Juno represents creative talent in the arts, women's arts, performing arts, projection of image, masks, dance, drama, vocal. Juno stands up for women's rights, the ERA, the matriarch, women's support groups. Juno is a symbol for the powerless, women harmed, victims, minorities, all the harmful things. Juno is associated with the atmosphere. So, weather, climate, meteorology, storms, quality of environment, clean and pure air. Did you know that? So, let's see. Juno in Capricorn. People seek depth and the assurance of long term commitment in their relationship, and therefore may need the security of traditional and legally sanctioned forms. These individuals may attempt to control their partners and demand obedience or withdraw emotionally if their need for respect and stability is threatened. Okay, so I'm going to read the second one because that will fit Capricorn energy as well. So Juno in the 10th house can signify the person who marries his or her career. In addition, one's relationship may be on public display or provide a role model for other people to emulate, i.e., a political spouse. Partnership may become the means for gaining social status. The most important relationship interactions occur through one's profession or career.
Yeah, I
There you
believe
go.
that.
Those things will come up. People
100%.
saying you work too much, you're never home. You know, people saying this traumatic thing happened, I need it corrected. You know, um, giving respect where respect is due, I think, but on a level where it has to do, again, Capricorn has to deal with each individual Aries in their team, their work team. Something is in a group and they must all symbiotically be working together, but they must all have their own individuality, but they must all also be in good relationship with one another, playing kissy face. It's
Well,
a hard thing to do.
and Juno and Capricorn is, they say Juno is like ruled by Virgo, another Earth sign. But I think Juno and Capricorn is very good with discernment. Now there's always high vibe, low vibe, right? It could also be a little different in Capricorn. I just had like the double card flash at me, to remind me that it could definitely be different. That there's two sides to Juno. Oh, but you're right. Let's see here. I love seeing everybody chat in the chat. I'm just trying to catch up with what they were all saying.
I'm pulling up to do the total solar eclipse the way that I usually do it.
Oh, you're gonna go into that right now?
Unless you have something else.
Not necessarily. I was just catching up with the chat.
Yeah, go
Uh,
ahead.
but like I didn't know if we want to do a whole video on that. If you wanted to go all into it, I mean, you can go in and show them your theory, your method if you want to. There was a Queen Candace did say in the chat, "Will you girls eventually do an all signs astrology?" Yeah. So I know that on Patreon, I've been giving the members a written monthly horoscope for all signs. Last year, I went ahead and or not last year, but well, it was last year. I did go ahead and record December horoscopes for all signs. But yeah, it's she. I know she has January horoscopes done, but it's yeah, it's definitely something that we're not opposed to. We just do it a little different because it's not necessarily I don't know, it's not necessarily what we want to do. I've done it in the past. It's just it's a lot of work, and there's a lot of things that we're exploring. So possibly. Candace says, "Bring the bag, Jupiter, for sure." That's right. Bring me that bank bag. Aubrey's Venus is in Cappy. Candace, oh, you have Juno in the 12th. You'd hope for spiritual relationships, but you think people want you to be their side piece behind the scenes. I gotcha. Yeah. So, and I noticed you just recently joined, but there is stuff on there. You just got to scroll quite a bit back, if you're wanting to get that. But if you're talking about the all signs, it does get put in there. It's just typically in written format. There's your answer. I put one in there every month since opening the Patreon channel. I know that the YouTube members don't have that. And it is what it is. The patrons who lock in over there have a little bit of a different experience and get a few extra things that you can't get over here on YouTube, and vice versa. Like our Patreon members don't get those little badges like Aubrey has. There are some certain perks that are going to be, for one or the other, but it is there, Miss Candace. Um, keep us busy. We keep ourselves crazy busy. It's ridiculous. I'm a little sad that my availability to do my work here is going to be uh shortened to a few days a week rather than all week long. So, but we'll make it happen. Uh, so I know she's looking up stuff, and we still got people talking up in the chat. What are you that I appreciate you bring that up, Candace, seriously, when you were asking about that. What other kind of things do you guys want? Since we were all here, we're all here. Happy New Year. What would you like to see Heather and Miriam manifest this year for you, content wise? She's already got the course going for tarot. We just got to do some recording on it. But the tarot course will be up before too awful long for our top tier members, or for individual purchase on Patreon. Um, but yeah, what else do you guys want? What else do you want to talk about? She's looking up stuff for the eclipse for February. And if you want me to delve into something else, I will. If you got questions, feel free to ask. Some of you know us better than others, but we're open books.
Well, do you know where's my friend? Where'd she go?
I'm over here. Boo.
It's gonna take me a minute, Candace.
That's what I'm
This
saying. Like
probably
what? Yeah,
last
it's a
eclipse
different
took me like an
recording.
hour and a half.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not saying it's not needed. It is. And it'll get done because it will.
it just not right now.
Just
It,
probably not right now. It will though. It'll be the
it's like
eclipse
when you
is
said you're going into that, I was like, oh well, you'll be gone for a while.
yeah, like she just checked out.
Yeah. I'll see you later, Miriam. Thank you
Candace
for
says, I'd
responding.
appreciate more astrology content. I don't watch much tarot anymore, besides pick a cards, really, because I'm not in that relationship anymore. How about pick a card tarot readings? That's interesting. I noticed that so many of us are right on the line. So, you know how the tarot is supposed to give you a little bit of insight into what will happen the way it used to do? It changed for me like 3 or 4 years ago, where it was like, oh, that's going on right now, like right in the moment. And it has not shifted from that position. I also know that, and Heather and I have done this, that whatever song is playing, it's giving us a message of some kind.
It's been that way for me for a lot of years. But then again,
Long time.
music has an Aquarius moon. Music has always been one of those
Yeah.
things that help me process emotion. But the synchronicities and the downloads, it's interesting too because it's not just downloads. If I have a spirit that visits me, I start getting a
Mm-hmm.
song, repeated song over and over and over again. And I don't know until like I'm talking to a client or a friend and they mention the song or something, and I'm like, oh, that's what that was, you know. But yeah, spirit definitely talks through song. And like if you notice sometimes when I'm doing the tarot readings, I'm playing music in the background, even though you may not be able to hear it. I'll catch lyrics and it immediately fits. When the lyric gets spit out, it fits the exact issue that I'm looking at. So
Right.
definitely synchronistic. Aubrey loves it when we do, when we did each element in a reading. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when we went through, it was back when when you and I were first doing this, live, when we were going live and doing the tarot, we did the all signs by element one or two times. That was a little different.
Saturn and Neptune headed into the ninth house. You know, the ninth house, Sagittarius, it also rules gurus, like gurus. And I have tried my hardest not to allow anyone to think that I am their guru directly.
Yeah.
I don't want the responsibility of that. So when you tell me Saturn and Neptune heading into the ninth house, I'm like, have you been working on all of these things and spirit plans to use you as a guru of some
That's
kind?
what I was gonna say, because the Saturn Neptune, that's very much godlike
Leadership.
and teacher like, leader like, in your
Yeah.
ninth house, and Aries talking about pioneering a new, maybe you're your new guru, you know, like you may notice that people start to come to you for that. You may be synced up with a new guru, or start learning into a new philosophy, like that, a new philosophy, a new branch of religion or spirituality, yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Aubrey,
Yeah.
I never wanted to claim that I was a guru of any kind. And
Mm,
one of the reasons for that is that Um, where is my Aries? It's in the 10th house. And
The
with
Aries in the
the
seventh.
backwards way of my chart,
I'm confused by that.
I do not really subscribe to any one way. The Gemini options that are constantly put in front of me, I gather what is brought to me or where my little nose wants to go search. It's not like I could give somebody a certificate. It's more like I'm a little ferret. And I go here and I go there and I go here and I go there. With Pluto in my first house, my moon, my urge is supposed to be free to seek. Am I a seeker? Oh, yeah. But I seek in a very different way than from others, especially others who have like a perfectionist bent, where they have put a lot of meaning into a belief system, and the system does right by them and it works for them. And then I step in the room and I'm, I'm like the kid with the markers on the wall going, and I just fly on through. Um, order by which I select is not a system. And when people come to me and they go, Miriam, teach me, I can only teach you, the knowledge I have gathered. I can't really hand you the system because it was done purely by urge. My moon
Curiosity, yeah.
and Mars are
Urge.
square.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have a lot of that cardinal urge thing. If I am constricted by a belief, any kind of belief, I'm gonna break out of that box because I'm not supposed to be in a box when it comes to a system of belief. I must have free reign, you know.
Same. A mixed bag. I take what works for me. Pick, 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 pick. I throw numerology into astrology, tarot into astrology. Like, there's crystal correlations with planets, all the things. Boom, 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 boom. A little bit
Yeah,
of
I don't
everything.
have like a system.
But the
If you
but the
ask me
thing
to
that
write a curriculum, which I've done before with the Terra, the curriculum that I wrote was unlike what anyone else had been teaching because I threw in the history and the ethics. And the folks that went through the course, they explained it was very intellectual minded. It had mathematics, it had rational thought. Um, and I had to kind of slow myself down enough to see the system by which I did what I did when it comes to the Terra. Um, and it took me 2 years to write the curriculum. The other day I was writing and I was looking at the astrology curriculum and going, okay, but it's going to turn out unlike any other system. And I believe that, we start off with the I am, we are breathing. Our divine self surrounds this body and fills it. And the whole purpose of being here is to experience life. The evolving nature that comes with this place. Yes, more light, but understand that I am light all the time. And so are you. And so is she. We're all light already. There are no surprises, okay? There's none. It's when we look at our Mars, we look at our first house, we look at Aries in the house that is being ruled by Aries. And as Jeffrey Green puts it, those three areas, you need to have complete and total freedom, period. At all times, the first house will be in a sextile to the 11th on one side and Gemini on the other, to have full liberty to roam and roam around and look for stuff. Gemini, to be presented with all the options freely without constriction. And I believe that's where the evolutionary part gets us to a place where either A, we are assertive enough to tell everybody to back the F off, period, to be assertive enough to tell people around them, that sounds like it's working for you, but I'm not quite sure that would work for me. That's totally fine, right? It's moving in the flow of all the people and relationships that are around us, moving in the flow of acceptance and peace with the environments that we're standing in, because the I am is supposed to have total liberty and a buffet of life experience while we're in the body.
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
Did I explain that correctly?
Yeah, for sure. You did. And Candace says, does that mean if you focus, you could create your own system, no system?
Yeah.
It's exactly true. And I think that anybody who is really, like you said, that you're more interested in learning more about astrology, and I do like that you asked, you're more curious about that relationship with uh your Vedic your Vedic guru, or about the tarot with the Vedic person that you're working with, and that move definitely lends to, with Saturn and Neptune, a change in your ninth house. And it very well could be you just taking what we just said. You can pick apart all the little pieces and apply it your own way, babe. You know, nobody does your magic best better than you know, like, and your spirit guides will lend into things. I've found in my journey that the synchronicities of whether you put on YouTube and a particular message comes through right at that moment from the reader you've never heard, right? Or you all of a sudden happen upon a book, or a podcast, or somebody mentions something, or something comes into your purview, let's put it that way, that wasn't there before, and then you look at it and all of a sudden you're like, this is exactly what I needed at this exact second. Keep it. That's a gift for you. That's like universe's way to like sprinkle little surprises on you that you could add to your own practice, and do it your own way. I mean, you guys see me when I'm doing my tarot. I don't know a whole lot of tarot readers that do math in their tarot. Like, I take the well, she does, but that's not really fair, because I kind of learned from her starting like 2018. I've been with her for a minute, but like the taking the positive wands and subtracting the negative wands and what you're left with, depending on what position, like, that's what I did. My guides know how to work with me that way and communicate that way. So whatever you add in, they adjust with you because they're with you the whole time. So that's what I have to say about that.
Candace, that Saturn opposite Pluto in Libra, there is an outdated system in place in the Aries energy. And the way that you interact with these one-on-one people in the next 4 years, 3 to 4 years, you're going to take that Aries system, and at first your interactions are going to kind of tear that down and then build it back up into a better system, so that each individual has honor and appreciation and quality. And so if you begin teaching That's how that would be. It would be like me sitting with a bunch of astrologers and they want to learn. And I would have to come in and pretty much say, the way that you've been doing it is wrong. And they'd all fight for what they've earned with their knowledge. And I'd be like, no, 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 watch this. And I go, the way that I do. And I give them a brand new structure that is probably bigger for their mind to play in instead of a little tiny box. So that's what that Saturn opposite Pluto is. Hi, Kylan, 8233, welcome. And Mia Moore wants to ask.
Everybody's in here asking questions, hon. Mia Moore, I recognize you from when we do our tarot, but we're just in here hanging out, talking astrology and stuff. So it's spirituality, whatever. I mean, if there's something you'd like to see us start doing in our content, interested in, we'd love to hear it. You know, you guys, we're here for you. But yeah, Queen Candace, dear, it's like when I tried to put a label Neptune Pisces, Neptune going into Aries. I tried to put a label on what I do, you know? So like, people will be like, well, what are you? You know, are you a witch? What are you? What are you? And I'm like, why do I have to subscribe? I'm everything, man. I'm everything. I'm jack of all trades, master of none. You know, like I am a scholar in all things occult spirituality. I study in religions. I study in history. You know, science, metaphysics. You know, all the things. You know, like space, outer space. I already said metaphysics, but yeah, all the things. And so to put myself into one thing, I'm not going to classify myself as a guru, but I definitely am going to work a whole lot different than what your guru does, or your guru, or your guru. Her and I, although we have a lot of similarities and, we can throw off on each other, we do have different methods. And it is how it is. We don't have to put labels on it. And it's one thing I'm glad to see is hopefully a lot more labels are going to be coming off and people just wanting to be individualistic with Neptune and Saturn and entering into Aries. And so Candace, with you, that stuff heading into your ninth house, Aries, that speaks directly to you being more individualistic and being okay being different than what your guru may be teaching you, because it's always just one more bit of info. Thank you for the information. Thank you for the lessons. I'm gonna implement that plus some other shit I found, you know. All right, well, get that house clean, Aubrey. Glad you'll still be listening. We love you too, hun.
Hi, Mama Jamma. Okay,
Mama
so
Jamma, the 3 dogs.
Can I show them the things? Can I?
Of course.
Can I show them the things?
The things.
I have the things. All the things. I really do.
She does. Yes. She literally has like all the fucking things.
All right, look at this. And we need to have a chat, people. This is real. It's an article that was written by Express, which is over in the UK. Apparently,
that's a lot
Bible
of ads.
Bombshell as NASA scientists discovers what the Star of Bethlehem actually was. And what they're saying in the article is that, NASA, they went back like we would with an ephemeris, like we would. And they went back to the time period around when Jesus was born. And guess what they found? They found a comet that had been flying in the sky. And I think they said it was in June. It was in June when this comet Like it was recorded by the Chinese folks, the Chinese astronomers in 5 BC, right there. In a study published in the Journal of the British Astronomical Association, planetary scientist Mark Matney has identified a comet first noticed by Chinese astronomers in 5 BC as a potential candidate. As historians say that Jesus may have been born around 6 BC or 5 BC, the timings initially match up. Furthermore, Mr. Matney's assessment suggests the comet may have been visible on a June morning in 5 BC. Freaking comet. And that's why apparently the 3 wise men said they followed the star, is because the comet was moving from like right to left. And the
That's
star was
a
pointing over the direction of Bethlehem and Jerusalem. Isn't that some
that's a
stuff?
that is interesting because I knew as you're telling me this, gosh, the synchronicity is funny because I was just talking about the actual birth of Jesus and trying to look up the birth chart, but also that my knowledge with it has to do with back in 2020 we
Mm-hmm.
had the great conjunction, right, of Jupiter and Saturn. And that was what was known because I actually did the same thing here. I was like, the conjunction of it, what was it? Here it is. The great conjunction, Jupiter, Saturn was a theory for what the Star of Bethlehem it was because it makes that star that looks like a big cross. And I remember in 2020 the story coming out about it, and the astrology community. And so I have specifically made sure to go look outside, at night to take a look at
Hmm.
that. But it was also known as the Great Conjunction, where the 3 wise men, the 3 magi, astrologer, magi,
Right.
wizards,
I was more or
came.
less thinking, like,
But the
was
comet
Jesus
thing's
born
really
in
cool.
June? Because that would have made him a Gemini.
Uh,
That'd be
Yeah,
a thought.
there's definitely different charts out and ideas of what it is,
Right.
of what he is, but and you can go the outer planets are easy. It's just hard to get the rising and the moon sign. Um but yeah, like I remember the Star of Bethlehem, but I'd never heard that comet theory. That's pretty interesting because you can follow the stars time wise by what time of year it is, where the what time of the year we're in. Sorry, I'm getting tickle nose real fast here. But I've never heard follow the stars is taken as maybe that was actually a comet. That's it's actually really cool. Oh, let's
Oh,
see here. Amba says, was recently reading that Yeshua or Jesus, the human, was inhabited by Christ energy, which is identical with other masters that we know of, basically the equivalent to what we call our guides nowadays.
yeah. Okay, so let me show you this next one because we're all friends, right? Okay. I thought this one was kind of, where is it? So they did a flyover of the Grand Canyon of Mars, not here on Earth, but on Mars. There's a Grand Canyon. It's a 2,500-mile long valves. Look at that thing. That's the surface of Mars. It's a Grand Canyon. It almost looked like something skidded and ripped off, right? Like
Yeah,
something
yeah, it does.
big
It's like
hit
it's
it.
I just had a visual of the Titanic when it went against the iceberg, the rip that it put in the side of the Titanic. It's like rip. That's interesting.
Yeah.
what did I see today? I actually saw something today that I was going
The
to share with
Mars
you.
Reconnaissance Orbiter, global topography done by NASA. Big old gouge. Look at that. Just huge.
Love that NASA still makes it look like they're playing my Minecraft on Mars.
It does. It looks like Minecraft, but that's huge. That's huge.
I'm just gonna say it because, like, I do love some of the stuff that I see that comes out from like NASA, but like when you can have these amazing pictures of these clusters of stars or nebulas or whatever you want to call it, and it's so mind blowing how beautiful it is. And then you want to get a picture of something like Three Eye Atlas, and oh, it's all pixelated. Like, we don't, what is life?
Oh, yeah.
What is technology? You know, like, what are you doing? You're NASA. Can't you get something really, really specific? I don't get it. But that is kind of a cool shot. I didn't know that. I mean, it makes sense that Mars would have, that any of the other
Okay.
planets would have mountains and canyons
Now,
for sure.
this one's from Daily Galaxy. Scientists discover new forms of life inside human bodies that don't match anything biology has classified. Wow, that's great. A newly identified class of RNA molecules has been discovered in bacteria living inside the human body. These circular genetic structures, termed obelisks, differ from known viruses and bacteria and may represent a previously unclassified category of replicating RNA. Great. That sounds like fun.
Is that
Obelisks appear
pre-shot or
frequently.
post-shot?
Look at this. I love this part. Their exact function is still unclear.
Yeah. I want to know when they started researching this.
Wow.
Is this pre-required inoculations or?
Oh, I know, but we can't talk about that part, right?
Yeah. Oh
Like,
well. Hey, I can.
it's okay. You
I
didn't say nothing,
raise the question. I can
right?
raise the question because I definitely see. It's no surprise there's
I love
alterations in
how they
DNA.
do this. Mysterious Dead Sea Scrolls code finally cracked, revealing 2,000-year-old biblical writings. So the breakthrough centers on the so-called cryptic B manuscripts, two heavily damaged fragments labeled 4Q362 and 4Q363 that were long considered impossible to read because they used an unfamiliar alphabet. So the researcher Emmanuel Olivero of the University of Groningen in the Netherlands determined that each cryptic symbol corresponded consistently to letters in Hebrew. Once deciphered, the fragments revealed familiar biblical phrases and themes about the end of days, including divine judgment, the coming of a Messiah, and the ultimate destiny of Israel. Really? Among the phrases meaning Israel, along with the references to Judah, Jacob, and Elohim. Great. So, what did it say? Like, everybody's like, okay, that's wonderful. What did it say?
You
But what it,
clickbait. What did it say?
but what did it say?
I hate clickbait. It's not going to say anything important.
It's
Her
cool that,
daughters.
like, I like seeing this because it means that AI is doing a good thing for us, translating these scripts. And yeah. This one, underworld supervolcano jolts awake after 15,000 years with
I'll be right back.
500,000 people living inside. I get a little nervous when I see stuff like this. The ground apparently is waking up. Camp Flegree. Amba would be able to say that better than me. Camp Flegree, a volcanic crater near Naples, experienced a magnitude 4.6 quake in June 2025, the strongest in 40 years, continuing a pattern of intensifying seismic activity. Yeah, let's just say that things are waking up, including the Earth. Sorry about that. I also know that, especially with the presentation I did on the Patreon channel for our patrons, talking about the Atlantic Ocean here is going to reach a critical point from which it's going to be impossibly difficult to recover. Which, yeah, the vast ocean water, there's a desalinity point that we're approaching where there's more fresh water being deposited into the ocean. There's also the Arctic, which is kind of holding right now cold energy. And every so often it flips, and then it holds warm energy, and then it holds cold energy. Right now it's about to flip. And when it makes that flip, it won't be able to flip back into its natural cyclic rhythm. So that's kind of been a big deal. Yeah. USGS warns Empire State Building sized eruptions will hit state within days. Thousands urged to evacuate. From where? Hawaii's Kilauea. That one's been showing a tremendous amount of activity, actually. Tremendous. It's just getting more and more and more. Like it won't slow down. It's pretty nuts. Okay, let me get out of here and come back to see you guys. I don't know where Heather went. Heather! Cool. Shaw Roberts said the emblem of tribe of Judah is the lion. Some believe that both Jesus and King David were born as Leos. And Christ's stable was beneath a heavenly constellation. Interesting. Candace said, after hearing about the similarities between all the crucified saviors, I look at Jesus as one of many. Yeah. Candace also said, actually, I went to Egypt and saw with my own eyes the Trinity, Immaculate Conception, etc. on the temples, which outdate the Bible by buku years. I just choose to go with the ancient sources. Yeah. Let's just say that when Rome was expanding during that time period, it was right after Julius Caesar passed, that it wasn't too far long after that who was it? It was, what's that kid's name? It'll come to me. Rome began to expand from the east to the west and then Africa. And they cut it into 3 different pieces, right? Well, Rome that went east, yeah, the portion of Rome that went, was it east or west? I'm thinking of Italy. It had to have been east because it's where Budapest is now. Constantine developing that area in the Byzantine Empire during that era. The meddling that went on in the creation of the Bible as a book. Please do not believe me. Do your own research, because I don't want to meddle with anyone's faith. historically, the meddling that went on because of that book that was created. Constantine's mother was a Christian, and Constantine had worked his way up to becoming emperor of Rome, right? And it took a lot to keep your seat as an emperor because there were a lot of folks that wanted to come after that seat.
Take it
Well,
down. Yeah.
his mother was a Christian, and at the time, Christianity was illegal in the capital. So I want to think that the dude was a Capricorn, had to have been, because he loved his mother with his life. You know, he didn't know his father growing up, but his mother had been with him through all of his early life and all of the stuff. The bond there was like really strong. So when he became emperor, he knew that everybody was going to be coming after him. And here he had a Christian mom. What's he going to do there? You know? So what he chose to do was swing left. And he started pushing to legalize Christianity as a real religion. But you couldn't have a real religion unless you had a central book. True? Of course, true. This is nation building, people. It's not just hanging out with friends. Bill Gates in his garage. It wasn't that. Nation building is done differently. Hold on, let me see if I can't clear whatever this is.
Yeah. Day of the printing press. That's like back when Johannes Gutenberg in 1440 like invented the printing press, and what was one of the first things that started happening, people started expressing their religious beliefs. And you know, of course, we had to hurry up and get the Bible out. It's interesting. Like, no, Candace, and I see what you said in the chat. You don't mean to offend anybody, just sharing beliefs. And Shaw Roberts in there is talking about check out Mithras, the Eastern Bull Slayer cult. The Mithric and Christian faiths have parallels. Fantastic Marathic temple found well preserved between the streets of London. You know, it's neat that and I say it's neat, but it's not really, you know. I mean, I think that that's something that a lot of us are starting to clue in on, as far as history being rewritten, history and timing being off. And we're going to continue to see those kind of revelations of, wait, there's huge gaps of history that are missing. You know, you think about Atlantis. You know, you think about all the places, you know, just big gaps, just missing. And, you know, the rewriting of the Bible. It's kind of,
Well,
really interesting little timeline.
there's certain
I'm
things
sure.
that make a nation bind together: a flag, language, religion, holidays, and people will all come together. Well, Christians had been doing their thing for quite some time by the time Constantine got into power. And there were many different denominations and factions all over the place. In fact, one of the more stronger one was the Gnostics, Gnostic Christianity. It was one of the big ones. And then there was what turned into the Roman Catholic Church. They were Aramaic Christians. The Paulines, I think is what they were called, Paulines, those that followed the instruction of Paul. So you had the instruction of Jesus, and then about 90 years later, you start having the instruction of Paul. Jesus, Paul. They were not the same thing. So Constantine is worried about his mother. So he says, we need to make a book so that we can legalize this and keep my mother safe. So he said, we need to gather folks who have knowledge. and put them all in the same place. And when he went out to do his selections, he had 300 seats, like a parliament or a Congress. He filled up 298 of those seats with the Christians of his mother's faction. There were 2 that came from the Gnostics, only 2. And within a week of trying to form this book, those 2 quit. They said, yeah, we don't agree with what you guys are doing here, so we're out. Like, peace. Within a week of that, those 2 guys were permanently gone, if you feel me. What happened at the Council of Nicaea was, it's somewhere around 336 or 343, something like that, AD. So these folks were in there for like 10 years trying to build this book. And at some point, about 3 years in, Constantine got really angry because he was just so concerned for his mother. He was like, I've given you 3 years. Where's my book? And none of them could agree. You know, they're scholars. They all have knowledge. None of them could agree on what to put into the book. So at one point, Constantine said, drag that table into the middle of the room now. And they dragged the table, and he picked up all the documents from all over Europe, all over everywhere, the Middle East. He called in. He said, I'm going to throw these documents onto the table. If anything misses and hits the floor, my servants are going to chuck them in the fire right here and now, so they're no longer considered questionable, period. And he stood back and he started chucking paper. Scrolls that hit the table made it into the canonical 66 books that are in the Bible. The ones that hit the floor, we will never know. They're gone. They're gone. That's how this book was written. That's why it may seem strange as you go to the beginning of the first 5 books of the Bible are what's known as the Torah in Jewish religion. That's why it seems that those 5 books, you have very angry God, and it doesn't make sense, right? And then you start stepping into the kingdoms, and some of those don't jive with the first part, with the last part. It seems confusing. Like you go, okay, over here, God is saying kill all the, animals plus. And then over here in the New Testament, you have Jesus saying, just love one another, be sweet. It doesn't make sense. They don't jive. It's because all the missing documents got thrown in the fire. Save mama. Capricorn trying to save his mama. 325, Candace, is that what you're saying? The Nicene Council was in 325. Yeah, so I mean, you got to picture the stuff we don't know, not just from the Gnostic traditions, but from all the other writings that had come from all these first century churches. Gone. Like none of it mattered. That's where I took a huge step back and I went, what? And in recent years, we have scrolls that are popping up. I know that the Book of Enoch has been a big thing recently, but also the Bible that was written in Ethiopia, because that one they're saying the verbiage is different than the Aramaic or the Greek that was written through Constantine's era. And it sounds different. So I know what I've been seeing is information coming out that kind of contradicts, but kind of not. Like the other day, they found a huge something or other, and it had Moses, Moshe, like somebody went in there and scratched his name into the wall. Moshe was here, that sort of thing. Anyway, just interesting tidbits I have. Anybody else want to go?
Well, I was just kind of deep dive digging whenever you were talking about all of that because I knew you had that part totally covered. I don't really have a whole lot to add other than to say, like I got thrown back to the printing press and how that really awakened the Gemini Sag axis, and I'm like, I wonder if Uranus was in Gemini during that time. And sure as shit it was. So with the invention of the printing press, which also allowed people to be able to spread the word, if you will, of Jesus through the Bible and such, Uranus was in Gemini. That's like an 84-year transit, right? So going back, I did look to the 1400s, and yeah, sure enough, we had Uranus in Gemini. At the time, Neptune was also in Virgo, which makes sense because Virgo is articulation, it's writing, um, learning, teaching, all those things. Pluto was in Cancer, and Saturn looked like it was in Taurus during that time. So, kind of interesting. Pluto, oh no, yeah, Saturn was in Taurus at that time. And Jupiter was oscillating between Aquarius and Pisces during that time, which, if you know the archetypes of all of those, definitely speaks back to um, innovation in and individuality and freedom of thought, freedom of speech, that kind of stuff became it started to become the norm. And like everybody else keep talking, Queen Candace is like, I'm the only one talking. That's how Aubrey was earlier. She's like, okay, I'm saying too much. You're not, though. We appreciate you guys being here. I don't know how long we've been going, but we're at like a couple hours at least, I think. But yeah. What else do we got going on here? Okay, so we already talked earlier in this conversation about what's upcoming
Hmm.
for everybody in January. I did just want to make a quick statement that I will be getting on the all signs here within the next day or so for the all
Mm-hmm.
signs on the horoscope part. Miriam said she's already got that all pretty much done. And then I mentioned that we're going to start doing the all signs tarot, and that may have to wait till Monday before we can start that. But just so you know, the written horoscope for January, all signs, I will be sure to get that into the Patreon channel. And
Mm.
oh yeah, I got to update the calendar too because I do that PDF, the calendar PDF for the transits and the days that the transits are happening. It's there for you guys, for the patrons to be able to print out or not. Totally up to you. But
Yeah, we can
yeah.
probably, go ahead and cut out of here because I have content I need to create for my members on YouTube and my patrons on the Patreon channel. I have a whole segment right here. I wanted to talk with you guys about Cancer energy, um, because this book with Dane Rugier, I'm still not finished with it yet. And I'm like, okay, so wait a minute. And then I start scratching paper. I've also been trying to put together presentations for the Terra course that you guys been begging for years. And I really do want to record those for you this week. So
Yeah, well, we'll be wrapping it up here. Amba did say 1492 marked the beginning of the genocidal action against the tribes of the world by the empire, and that is a good point. I mean, like I said, the printing press happened in the 1400s, and with Uranus and Gemini, that definitely lends to the rebellious type behavior because it's like something isn't right, and to add in that they didn't want people who are educated, which the printing press was helping do. People
Yeah.
that are educated are a threat to the narrative, right?
Yeah.
So, why do you think Miriam and I just love to just read and read and read and learn and get smarter? Yeah, majority of all you do too, right? You learn because you want your autonomy,
Yeah.
you see through the power and control tactics, good Pluto stuff. But we love you all.
Yes, we love you guys. I have work to do, and Heather needs her rest.
I have to
But we'll
rearrange my
we'll be back. I'll be back, and I'll have more fun stuff to talk about you guys with. And for the members and the patrons, look forward to some more content this week. Is what's today? Thursday. So I'll
yeah.
probably be working through the weekend. Full moon in Cancer on Saturday. That's good for me because that's my 10th house. There you go. So yeah, it'll be good times. I
Happy
love you guys.
2026, everybody. Bye bye.